Welcome, everyone. So we're here today for another of our LaunchX alumni interview series. And I have Navyansh Malhotra. So he's joining us here today to share a little bit about his entrepreneurial journey, as well as about his LaunchX startup, DotBot. So welcome, Navyansh. I guess just to start, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. So yeah, as Laurie mentioned, my name's Navyansh Malhotra. I'm a 17-year-old entrepreneur. I'm based in Singapore, and I did LaunchX last year, so in 2019. And during the LaunchX experience, myself and three other launchies came up with DotBot, which is a technology which prints tactile diagrams for visually impaired students.
Awesome. And all right, and I know there's like so many cool things that we're going to be able to talk about with DotBot. And before we jump into all of that stuff, because it's going to be so cool, let's start at the beginning. So what initially got you started into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think the way I really got involved was just it fascinated me how you can take an idea to the market and actually spread that solution. So rather than a single moment, I think it's more of a mindset of the problem solving, seeing problems as opportunities, sort of thing. And yeah, so it's not a single day I can say, right, this is when I started my entrepreneurship journey, but rather just a way of looking at problems, a way of looking at using whatever skill sets you know, whether it be technology, whether it be branding, whatever you know, and leveraging that to bring ideas and potential solutions out to the market.
And is entrepreneurship very prevalent in Singapore?
Definitely, I think right from teenagers, they're trying to foster the culture of the maker mindset, but expanding that maker mindset into problem solving mindsets where you spread your solution, and that's what entrepreneurship is. So definitely right from the early years, they're trying to spread entrepreneurship right until the government giving subsidies for starting new businesses, really reducing those barriers to entry at every level.
Awesome, love it. All right, so tell us a little bit more about DotBot.
So like I mentioned, DotBot is a startup that we came up with at LaunchX, and we're still continuing that now, nearly a year and a half down the line. Um, DotBot, at its core, is a technology which efficiently prints tactile diagrams and graphs for blind students. So yeah, I think we're going to touch on this later as well, but we really came up with DotBot because it wasn't our first idea at LaunchX by any means.
Yeah, I think I remember y'all had the blog post that was something like seven
ideas.
Yeah.
Definitely. DotBot was born after many iterations of ideas, but also of prototypes. And DotBot, we came up with DotBot because we thought, right, there's a problem. But we also thought that our team, being comprised of myself, Surya, Mikkel, and Michelle, that we were well placed to solve the problem, because one of our team members are visually impaired himself, and he faced this problem himself. So he not only did we have the network of people to reach out to get validation of our idea, to get validation that there was a demand, but we also had in-house in-house experience and the ability to test the solution in-house, which I think is invaluable.
Yeah, that can be really helpful to have somebody on the team that has a problem themselves to be able to speak from experience. And so, all right, so tell us about the progress that you made during the time frame of LaunchX.
So like I mentioned, we did 7 ideas in 4 weeks. It wasn't easy. There were times that we weren't sure if we would have a demo or anything to pitch at on demo day. But I think the key to why we did that and how we did that lies in that we knew that there wasn't a perfect idea, but we also knew that um, there was no point pitching something that added no value to anyone. So it's great to have these cool ideas for cool robots or whatever, but if it adds no value to anyone in the chain, um, then really that's when we thought, should we continue with this? And the way I like to think about it is the argument between pivot or pursue. So should we pivot away from this idea, change it slightly, and come on to either a new business model, a new way of solving the problem, or really a new way of looking at the problem? Or should we pursue what we currently have? Because obviously, if you pivot away, that takes a lot of time to come up with a new idea, come up with a new solution. And in the context of LaunchX, it also takes a lot of time coming up with the pitch decks, the slides, the market proposals, all those various technicalities and documents. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is that, I mean, it is a short time frame to come up with basically an entire business, right? We say that you launch a startup in 4 weeks, right? And I know a lot of teams get to a certain point within that 4 weeks that they're like, we'd rather have something by the end of this than, than to, really decide that it's something that we really want. And it seems that y'all's team was able to find this weird balance, right? You did 7 things.
So
you somehow landed on something that you're really passionate about and continued.
Mm-hmm.
So how far along in the program were you when you finally arrived?
I think it was approaching week 3.
Okay.
So yeah, 75% down the road, but yeah. So that's a conversation we had very often. That should we just do something to have something to pitch on demo day, or should we really do something that we want to continue? And that comes down to, why are you at LaunchX? I guess, is it just to start something? Is it just to learn the content, or is it to merge the two and really push that experience further? And yeah, I think my team members would also agree with me that we've spent nights just making pitch decks that we would never use, but just so that we know why we wouldn't use them. Because equally important is why you would use something, you need to know why you wouldn't use an alternative. And that's really where I think that's where we differed from other teams to some extent. That we went through every idea that we thought of to know, right, is this the idea that we are passionate about? Is this the idea that adds demand to people, or adds value to people, and hence is there demand? And another question is, can we do it as a team? So in 4 weeks, can we get a demo, number one, but also looking further on, can we, with our skill set as a team, can we push on with this idea and build it further? So that's something that we kept in mind when evaluating every idea.
Yeah, and y'all arrived at something awesome and had something awesome for demo day. So yeah, I even remember y'all's pitch at demo day. Like that's how memorable it was. So yeah, I guess tell us about what you had for demo day. Because I know it's something that, like, I remember it. I remember the demonstration.
Yeah, and the little LaunchX rocket.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think as the tech guy on the team, right, as the hardware builder profile on the team, I was the one who built that prototype in our dorm room, and I think it was, so personally, I wanted to have something to show, because there's no better way of showing of pitching a product than showing it, so that people really understand what it is, how it works. Is it cool to people who don't understand the technology, but also is it cool to people who do understand the technology and who need what the product's offering? So the reason we went on to pitch something with the demo is because, yeah, like I said, we wanted to. That's the best way of showing what we have, rather than showing a video, rather than explaining it. Just run it live. And I think that's one that's one factor that I would recommend to everyone, that if they can do it live, go for it. In our case, DotBot didn't work the first time. We, I think, took 6 minutes to get it to work. And there were times in those 6 minutes that we were thinking, right, did we make the wrong decision by choosing to do this project? Did we do a wrong decision? Did we make a wrong decision by choosing to do a live demo? And definitely those are things that you would think when you have a clock ticking, that, right, your pitch is starting in a minute and a half from now. But I guess that's the risk. Being an entrepreneur is risky. And only if you're willing to accept that risk will you achieve something. Because if you're not willing to take risks, you'll only do what everyone else does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the risk paid off, because I remember it working when you did the pitch, and
Yeah.
you started the presentation and said, we're
It's happening live by your side.
Starting to print right now. And by the end of their presentation, they had a printout of the LaunchX logo, the tactile printout, to be able to show, and handed it out to us as the panelists, for us to be able to feel the tactile readout there. So that was just extremely impressive, that they were able to do that in such a short period of time. So yeah, if y'all are able to have that kind of demonstration, it's really powerful.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, like I said, that's something that I've heard in a lot of videos. I've seen in a lot of blog posts that what really sticks is what you show. So a live demo is the best way to make a pitch stick, not just in the LaunchX environment, but in any environment, whether it be funding, whether it be just showing what you have. Doing a demo is the best way to show people what you've come up with and make them remember.
Yeah. And so I know y'all have continued with the with DotBot since the program as well. So what progress have y'all made since the program?
Yeah, so since DotBot, we've filed for a patent in the US. It's not been an easy journey filing for a patent. It wasn't an easy decision to start that process. Then it wasn't an easy decision to choose to do it by ourselves with the four of us, rather than go to external lawyers and whatnot. And then it wasn't an easy process to continue writing that patent and going and actually filing it. So let me start with the first decision that we had. The first decision we had was, do we want to continue this idea to any stage? And really, for the four of us, it was completely honestly, it was why not? We had that time to allocate to work on it. During the LaunchX 4 weeks, we had gone to the Chicago Lighthouse of the Blind, which is a US government sort of advisor who works with the US government to provide assistive technology to state schools. And they loved our idea, to the extent where they said that the minute you have prototypes ready, we want to distribute it to 200 schools. So there was definitely, and I'm referring back to what I said earlier, there was definitely value added somewhere in that chain. So there was potential for this business to grow. And then the second thing was, should we patent it? I guess two options are either patent it or either to keep it open source. The reason we chose to go down the patent route is simply because we thought that's what's going to add the most value to whoever and however this technology is used in the future. Because another thing that us and my other three co-founders are very aware of is that practically, is us bringing this technology to the market the best route to go down? Or is it better for us to exit, i.e. sell this technology off, give it as a royalty to someone, to a company who knows the industry inside out? And the minute you have a patent on the technology, it's yours. No one else can steal it. So thinking just as a business mindset, it definitely adds an upper edge for you and your idea and your firm or company. And then should we go to lawyers? None of us had done the patent experience before. And we didn't know what we were getting into, honestly. We were like, okay, it's probably a couple of pages of writing about our thing. Why not go for it? We started the process for people who are looking at patents and who are interested in IP. There are two types. One's a provisional and one's a non-provisional. A provisional is sort of the first step just to get your idea into the patent office's registry, essentially. The provisional was not too hard. It was a couple of documents. We thought, okay, the non-provisional must be the same. Turns out it's not. It's much more documentation, much more images, drawings of the actual product, much more technical explanation, details. But yeah, it's a learning experience. We decided not to go to lawyers simply because we thought we have nothing to lose by trying it ourselves. It's not that, oh, we're in the fortunate position where our livelihoods don't depend on this invention. So we have the ability to try out things and take those risks because we have a buffer, essentially. And so we took those risks. We decided to write our patent ourselves. We decided to go pro se, as in not take any professional help, and not get our parents involved because and parents involved as in they are named inventors. We didn't go to sort of their contacts for any help, because even in the US, they're really pushing this entrepreneurial mindset. And I think the USPTO gave us, I think it's probably 80% off the usual fees. What would cost $10,000-$15,000 probably costed us $1,500 or $2,000, simply because they're really pushing this self-written patent under the age of 21 mindset. So let people get the exposure to this IP process and to the invention process, because even in my case, we currently have patent pending. So and it takes 5 years to get it granted normally. So even if it doesn't work out, even if we don't get the patent, it's definitely taught me so much more, and it's also changed the way I look at inventions and companies now, because I know how much goes behind launching a simple technology product.
Yeah, and that's great to know that they have such discounting for young innovators for the patenting process, and great to know for any young innovators out there as they might think about patenting going forward. And I guess I have to say I love that a couple of times throughout there, as you thought about whether or not to move forward with something, your thought process was, why not?
Yeah, why not? Take the risk, go for it. If it doesn't pay off, it doesn't. If it does, lucky us.
Yeah, that's actually something that I came across that as a quote in a book one time. Have you ever realized how often the answer to big questions in life are, why not? Yeah. I feel like we should live our lives more often that way. And actually, as you've thought about the journey of your startup so far, have there been any kind of mistakes that you wish you would have avoided, or challenges that you feel like you've faced that have been extraordinarily difficult?
Challenges, yes. Mistakes that we would have avoided, no. And because The reason, so going back to our 4 weeks at LaunchX, DotBot wasn't our first idea, and there were times that we were like, are we going to have anything? Um, but now looking back, each one of those ideas added value to us, not only as a company, but to us individually and as people. Um, so, so few may call it mistakes, or few may call it bad decision making. Um, I think personally, and I'm sure my co-founders would agree too, is that each one of those iterations, each one of those pivots, taught us something, and that's what's building us, and that's what's building DotBot now. And yeah, like I said,
that's great.
Challenges.
And I mean, what motivates you as an entrepreneur?
What motivates me? I guess the textbook answer is to make people's lives better. But apart from that, I think it's really cool how, especially as someone who's passionate and enjoys technology and the technical sides of things, I think it's really cool how easy it is to test out ideas now. Yeah. How easy it is to bring from ideas to prototypes and ultimately solutions. Yeah, and I think that's just amazing, and it's really gone leaps and bounds ahead in the last few years, even since I've entered this journey. It's become so easy to do three things. Number one, to validate your idea. Number two, to prototype a solution. And number three, to test that solution. And at each stage, each one of those three stages, it becoming easier just makes the chance of success better, because you know when to pivot or when to pursue. And I think that's what's keeping me in this game. It's knowing that it essentially, it takes one idea to change something in a big way, but it takes 1,000 ideas to reach that one idea. Yeah. And you never know when that one idea is. So
true. Yeah. And so where do you see your entrepreneurial journey going forward?
Tough question. I'm not sure. I'm still in high school right now. I'm going to university next year. Maybe I do something on the side. Maybe we continue with DotBot and bring it to market ourselves. Maybe I drop out of university with an idea. I don't know, but definitely, whilst I don't know where it's going to reach me, I know that it's definitely going to help me, and it's definitely going to change the way I look at every step on that path, and really, yeah, just change the way I look at what people would say pain points or problems, and really see that as, oh, maybe there is something here.
Anything we should keep an eye out for from DotBot in the near term?
Yeah, we're still waiting to hear about the patent decision. That'll probably take a few months more, yeah, for the initial decision. But yeah, we're still actively working on reaching out to people, seeing if there's a specific company, government sector, anyone that's a perfect fit, so that we would like to give the technology to, but would obviously also like to have the technology. It's a two-way street that way.
And what was your favorite part of LaunchX?
Favorite part of LaunchX? There's so many, I don't know which one to say.
Or maybe perhaps in what ways has it helped you in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. So yeah, I think LaunchX. So answering the first question actually is that LaunchX definitely has great speakers, great market, great demo sprints, great iteration sprints. But I think it's the people who you meet at LaunchX that really changes your experience. We still keep in touch. We had a reunion call last night. So yeah, just seeing where your cohort is going, at least in the short run, the universities that they're attending, the types of ideas and businesses that they're running. It's very it's fascinating just to know that the people who you spent a month with so closely are going on to do these things. So yeah, it's really a network that you build. It's a network that you can really leverage down the line.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome group. I know I'm continually impressed by the amazing things that launchies go on to do.
Yeah.
And then I guess to close things out, what advice would you have for other aspiring young entrepreneurs?
Just, why not try it out? I think that's the best thing I can say.
Yes, again, why not?
yeah, why not? Yeah, I was definitely in that situation on, right, I don't have the perfect idea. Should I even continue this? Is this the idea? I think to reach the idea, you never know when it is, and you don't know if it's the idea till you try it out. So yeah, just try each and every idea you have, and I guess answer a few questions in your head, just to get that initial idea filtration process started. Is that, do people actually need this? A lot of time, the customers don't know what they want, but I guess, again, prototyping a potential solution, if it's a hardware thing or if it's a software thing, just bring that out, ask people to try it out, ask people, right, would you use this? Probably make a framework of questions you would ask them, and then ask yourself, can you do this from a technical perspective? And then if the answer to those two questions are yes, go for it.
Awesome, I love it. Well, it's been awesome catching up. I'm excited to hear all the great progress of DotBot. They all have been continuing to prototype and continue along with the technology of DotBot. I know we didn't even talk too much about the continued iteration that y'all have done in addition to the
yeah, I think there is a blog post on your website, on the LaunchX website. I think it's titled 7 Ideas, 4 Weeks, 1 Venture, DotBot. So yeah, if you guys are interested in just reading a bit more about how we went through each one of the 7 ideas, how we came up with each one of the 7 ideas, feel free to have a read there.
Yes, absolutely. Check that out. Encourage y'all to go through that, because it was just a great process that they went through. And then I think we also probably have y'all's pitch somewhere on our YouTube channel as well, that I encourage y'all to check out too. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate you joining us all, Navyansh. And
thank you.
Excited to see the continued great progress. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.